Alright, here we are with our 2023 Model Y. In this video we're going to install some new mud flaps, and hopefully you can see, oops, let's pull that focus back, there we go. So a really good fit. This is the rear one, bolts underneath, as you can probably see there. And the main thing about these is they are flexible. So even if you live somewhere with heavy snow, heavy weather, or deep mud potholes or speed bumps, they will not present an issue. They fit the same as our other mud flaps. We'll like this a bit better for the installation, but just a couple of clips on this side. Then if we go to the front, exactly the same thing here. You'll see they're nice and flexible, and they just hook on. Again, we'll like this better next time with a couple of clips. So now we're going to install them on the other side of the car. Alright, so we're going to start on the front. You can see I've turned the wheel, so you've got much better access to this area. All we need to do first is just pop out these two factory trim clips. Just need a little flat blade screwdriver to do that. Put it on there, pop it out. You're not going to need these. Okay, and you'll see with your mud flaps you get a couple of baggies. These are the ones for the front. The bags are labelled front and rear, so be sure to use the right ones. Now all we're going to do, hopefully you can see on the camera, so we have these clips here. They clip around the wheel arch trim on the Model Y. Model 3 they just clip around the bodywork, the same concept. So I'm going to clip those over first, and I've kind of cleaned this area up a little bit. It doesn't have to be immaculate, but it just helps. So what we're going to do is slide this down until it lines up with the holes. You see Goose has made a surprise appearance. Go over there. Go on, go. Come on. Goose, move. Sorry about that. Alright, and then we're just going to grab one of the clips, pop it in, grab the centre pin, and just push that through like that. I'm going to do the same over here. Grab the centre pin, line it up, and that's it. So that's all you have to do. That's on there very securely now, and nothing's going anywhere. So we'll now go on to the rear wheel. There you go. Now we're going to do the rear wheel. First thing to note, this is where it goes. We have a lot of customers try and put it at the front of the rear wheel well, but this is the correct location on the rear fender. So bear that in mind first. The rear one is just a little more complicated to install because you have a 10mm bolt underneath here. So you'll see on the assembly itself, this tongue is for the 10mm bolt. It fits on like that. This bolt's underneath there, the clips around here, the same as the other one. So we're going to prep for that first. We do include this little 10mm socket wrench. I'm going to get under the car a little bit. So the bolt we're aiming for is this one just here. Now it's important to note this goes into quite a weak weld point on Model Y. Less of a problem on newer ones and on Model 3, but on Model Y this is quite an issue. So what we're going to do, we're going to start to turn it with this, and if we feel any resistance we're going to stop. We're going to soak this in WD-40. We're going to leave it for at least 30 minutes to penetrate. Then we're going to come back, we're going to turn it again. If it still doesn't turn, we're going to put more WD-40 on there and just keep working it through. So WD-40 is perfect for this. It will solve the problem, but it just requires a little bit of patience if you're not feeling any movement. And obviously this whole area, if you have an older car, there's going to be dust and muck and grit everywhere, so it just takes a minute to release this. But we're going to try and release this. Okay, so it's turning. So I'm not feeling any kind of resistance. I mean, obviously it's a bolt, so there is resistance, but there's no kind of spring in it, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty confident this is turning correctly. And this is why we should actually use the tool provided rather than using the socket set or anything where you may just have a disconnect from the force that's being applied to the bolt. As you can see, this is coming out now. Should be able to finish that by hand. Can't. Let's put this back on. Alright, we'll just come that last little bit. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Alright, so now we've got the bolt out, we just need to pop out the trim clips. Same thing, just get a flat blade screwdriver and pop and pop. Wiggle those out. As mentioned, when you get the mud flaps, you'll have two baggies, so I'm using the clips from the rear baggie. These are slightly longer just because that's what you need on the rear. So I'm going to grab the mud flap, and then just to note, there's a couple of clips here, or just one actually, that clips behind the arch on the Model Y. So I'm going to get that in place first. Let's bring it down. There we go. So you can see it's holding on by itself. I'm just going to look until and sort of slide it down. Oops, I'm way low. There we go. There we go. So it kind of finds its own position, and obviously the bolt at the bottom is in the right spot too. So let's put some clips in. Get the center pins, push those through. There we go. So that's already rock solid. So it's worth noting that if you do find the bolt breaks when you're removing it, you can obviously use this without it. It's very stable already, but we're going to go ahead and put this back in now. Okay, so now we're under the rear bumper or fender on the car. Just going to put this in by hand at first. Make sure you still have the washer on there, and then grab the little wrench just to finish it up. We'll just give a hand tight on this, and actually pretty loose hand tight. Which is why I'm not using a socket, even though that would be a better tool. There we go. So hopefully you can see now. Very, very stable, not going anywhere, perfect fit, and obviously very flexible as well. So you know, you'd have to go into a pretty big pothole to do any kind of damage at all. There you go. Thank you for watching.